Hi everyone and welcome back. Today's video is going to be all about styling your home for spring. I'm going to share my top tips of how I changed my house from the winter period with all the Christmas decorations into spring, making it much lighter and brighter and bringing some nature in. So I hope you enjoy it. Oh, that's a nice teepee smile. Right now we are in our guest bedroom, and in today's video I'm going to show you my styling tips for restyling your home to transition from winter into spring. So the first thing I'm going to do, and I do love to do this in all the rooms of my house, but because of time I don't want to make this a 2-hour long video. I'm just going to show you a guest bedroom and a living room to give you some different ideas of what you can do in those spaces. I thought I'd pick this chest of drawers because it's a good opportunity to show you how to style. It doesn't have to be a chest of drawers, it could be a shelf or a coffee table or a sideboard. So I've got this lovely antique that I bought online about a year ago. Absolutely love it. I think it's got so much character. I love the patina. And then above that I have a lovely piece of art. This is by a Pure. If you change up your styling, and it could just be using existing pieces you've got, but you move it around your home, it gives it a new lease of life, and it just sort of, I find it really re-energizing, especially this time of year. Without fail, every January I want to declutter my home and have a restyle. So in here I'm just going to bring a little bit of greenery and mix it up. Just leaning art sometimes. I think I've spoken about this before in previous videos, but I think it looks really cool and casual to have some of your art leaning, and I think it just draws more attention to it. When everything's on the wall, you don't always pay that much attention, whereas I think having a piece as detailed as this at a lower height, you can really appreciate all the detail of all the amazing branches and all the texture that you've got in the silk background. This is from our collection with Fremantle. We launched it about 2-3 months ago, and it's a collection of artwork that you can buy ready framed. It's all hand painted on silk, and you can buy it in different sizes. This is the small size, it also comes in a much bigger size, and you can buy one or a pair or a triptych. I think it's so nice, bringing in not only in the artwork some elements of nature, but actually some real foliage into your home. It just really adds, again, more life into the space. So here I've got a lovely photo frame. This is one of those Addison Ross ones. Gorgeous picture of Oscar. And again, that brings out the green, so we're adding a bit more colour. Got a lovely candle. It's one of those Bamford ones that I really like. And you can see there's different forms and shapes, but they make a neat cluster. Generally, there's a tall item, mid-height and a low. And I talk about this all the time, but books are great for acting like a tray. I do like to pick out the colours in the room into a book. The way I see them is they're not just books, they're also accessories. So I've picked this one because it's got this lovely lilac purple which picks out the colours in the olives, and I think that looks really nice. This one's going portrait, and I've purposefully kept this one more neutral because when you're styling you want to kind of balance the colours, and where this has got a lot of the celadon green, I wanted to have something neutral so it wouldn't compete. I think these are agate or crystal balls that I bought years and years ago, and they're just absolutely stunning. And I thought they would make a really nice grouping. So you've got one there. Again, you've got your large, medium and small item that makes a great grouping, and it brings out all the colours that are in the picture. Behind me you can see that I've got this big dark sofa, which I love because it's very practical with kids, and I also love how it looks. But now that it's spring, I really want to brighten this room up. So a great way to do that is to use cushions. You can really sort of cater your colour palette to what you're feeling at that time by not spending too much money, and you can brighten your room for springtime, or you can make it slightly darker for winter. So I do need to do a little disclaimer. Obviously, I'm an interior designer, this is my collection, and I am a cushion addict. But I really wanted to show you what I could do with the cushions that I have here with me today. So these ones are all from my collection, but by no means am I telling you to go out and buy 13 cushions. A couple of tips for choosing cushions is try and bring in different elements from the room. Don't have all the same colour, and have contrast. So if I had this light one, I wouldn't put another light one next to it. I would choose like a darker grey or maybe something with a bit of tan in it. And I've written all my sort of organisation here because I had them all sort of ready sorted. But those ones I think combine really nicely because there's a clear difference between those prints. This one almost fades away when you look at it from a distance to a plane, whereas this one's a much stronger geometric. I want to lighten up this sofa, so I'm adding this light one here. Then I want to add some texture, bring the grey back in so it's kind of correlating to the sofa. This one I love because it's got that boucle fabric with the brush fringe, so again it's adding a lot more interest. Quite like how this tan colour sort of picks up some of these warmer tones in the painting, almost goes with that kind of peachy colour, and it's adding a little bit of warmth, which I think this room really needs. And that does look like you can't sit on it, but there is a lot of depth on the sofa. I've gone extra deep on the sofa so you can sit in front of all these cushions. Hugely important. I would say anything you touch, whether it's with your skin, whether it's a sofa, a cushion, even a door handle, it has to feel nice, it has to be tactile. If you're sitting on a sofa and it's an itchy wall, it's not a nice, relaxing or luxurious experience. So when you're choosing a cushion, don't just look at the colour and the print, also see what it feels like. I also love to use the springtime as a great sort of time to think about organising and decluttering my home. And when it comes to styling coffee tables, you have to have a tray. A tray just sort of brings everything together and makes it look much tidier. So I've got this lovely rustic one, and I love how it's really oversized and brings in again some more of those lighter colours. If you're looking for more coffee table styling tips, by the way, I did do a video on this. I think it might have been my living room video, so have a look back and you might find that. Ollie probably knows, he's probably like trying to mouth it to me. So we have our tray, and I think it's a nice time to sort of bring in some new elements into your house, but this is something that I had from last year. So again, if you don't, I know January is a tough time for buying new things. We've all spent all our money over Christmas, so don't feel that you've got to go out and buy a new tray. If you've got a tray elsewhere in your house, bring it into your living room and put it on your coffee table. I also like to mix up my coffee table books. So I had a different one in here for Christmas that was a lot sort of darker. And now that it's spring, I want something that really brings in that lightness and brightness. So this is Erin Lauder, who I am a major fan of. Her book, Entertaining Beautifully, and I love to read this book. I constantly read it, but I also love the front cover, which is some people might think a little bit sad, but again, it's all part of your decor, and coffee table books, as well as reading them, they are an accessory. I don't want to overly sell that because we actually use this tray sort of as like one big coaster, so when we come in here in the evening, if we have a cup of tea or a coffee, rather than putting that on the coffee table, I'll just put it in the tray, and it's a good way of keeping everything safe if you've got young kids. So that's looking nice, but my next tip for spring, and I think this kind of lends itself to all year round, but especially in January, I find January quite a sort of, I think a lot of people, it's quite a sort of depressing time, but also quite a good time to sort of have a fresh start. And I love to bring nature in at this time of the year. It makes me feel hopeful that spring's just around the corner. This video is obviously all about spring, but in reality, we're still in the middle of winter. But I think by bringing some tulips and some sort of spring flowers into your house, it makes you feel that there's hope and spring is nearly here. There's a couple of tips I've got with tulips. These ones are literally just from my local supermarket. I picked them up on Monday. But if you have used tulips before, you know that they flop quite quickly. So when it comes to the vase, you need to use one that comes up quite high. Know that when you put your tulips in at first, they are going to grow a little bit as well, so they're going to get taller and they flop over. So whilst these looked probably a little bit too short for this vase, now that we are Thursday, they look perfect. And then to stop them flopping over, I sometimes put like a 2p or a copper coin in there. And then I've also used these, I think these are hazel twigs. And what's great about that is that when a tulip is sort of flopping down, and I think I've done it over this side, it's sort of about to look like it's dying, you just sort of hook it over the twig and it props it up a little bit. What I really crave this time of the year, and I think what really sort of gives you that sort of boost of energy and happiness, is bringing in fresh flowers. I love planting bulbs as well, so hyacinth bulbs are a great one, they smell so beautiful. So another accessory that I love to use all year round is a throw. This time of the year, it's not so much about using it to snuggle in, it's more about sort of accessorising and styling up your sofa. I think you can make an old sofa look so much better, not only through cushions, but by adding a throw. Sometimes I will casually drape it, especially if I want to cover a bit of the colour on the front, across there, and I'll put the cushions on top. But with this one, I just want to fold it really neatly. I feel like this corner behind me just needs a little bit of love, and I want to sort of lighten it up. So I'm going to fold that neatly over the arm. This one is the Monty, so it has this gorgeous geometric. I'll let you have a look at that up close. So now that we've styled up the sofas, we've lightened them up a little bit, we've brought some life in with the beautiful tulips, we've got a lovely tray to make everything feel organised. The next thing I really like to do is just sort of declutter and organise the room. So I have actually stripped out a lot of the accessories that I had in here. I feel like at winter time I like to have lots of things. It's kind of a time of abundance. You have your Christmas tree and it feels appropriate. And then as soon as January comes, I literally just want to shed everything, take everything off my shelves, take everything off the tables, and then only put back the things that feel right. So you can see this table, I've taken everything off. The first thing I'm going to style it with is some photo frames. These are existing photo frames that I already had, but what I like to do is print out some of my favourite photos from the previous year of happy memories, and sort of update my photo frames or maybe add to the existing collection. And I think that's really nice, rather than just having all your photo frames stuck in a time warp of maybe when you got married or when you graduated or whatever it is that you've got photos of. Have recent happy memories as well, so you can sort of like see your life progressing, and I find it very uplifting. This is one of my absolute favourites of my husband and our son. Every time I look at it, it makes me smile. So here, what I am doing is just adding, again, a little bit of greenery. These are some succulents. I've had these probably about 12 to 18 months, literally haven't done a thing to them. They don't really seem to like water. As soon as I try and look after them, they die. But again, that's just bringing in a nice little bit of life. I love to have an open book on a table. I just think it sort of invites you to take a moment, sit down and read it. But I also use books like this, almost sort of like a visualization board. This is a really popular time to do those kind of things. I personally don't have time or inclination to make a mood board of everything that I want to achieve, and it doesn't really look that nice on your wall. But I think having an open book on an image that sort of triggers something for you that you really want to focus on and prioritise that year is quite a nice sort of subtle way of giving yourself a little reminder of that and having a little uplifting moment. So I have it on this page, and there's something about this image that I absolutely love, and it's prompting me for one of my goals this year, which hopefully I'll be able to talk about soon. So that's why I put it on that page. I have these little, well actually it's a massive throw. It's the coziest throw. I got given it quite a few years ago, so it's really bumpy. But I just fold these up and then I chuck it under the table, which is really handy when you want to grab it. But I feel like it could look a little bit better. So what I'm going to do is I use these wicker baskets everywhere, absolutely swear by basket. These ones are from the White Company and I'll link them down below. If you just fold that up a couple of times, it fits perfectly into the basket. It's quite nice if you have it little puffing up a little bit above it so you can still see it. I think that looks so much neater than just having the throw there by itself. So that's just one example of how you can maybe make your home feel a little bit more organised and tidy at this time of the year. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you're enjoying our content here on YouTube, you can also follow us on Instagram, where we update every day with loads more behind the scenes, new projects. And our Instagram is @Sophie Paterson Interiors, so be sure to follow us there. And if you're enjoying the content on YouTube and you're not yet subscribed, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We've got some really exciting videos coming your way, and we'll see you in the next one.